After watching this video, you will learn how to master confidence and how to use practical lessons to actually improve your confidence day to day and become better in basically any realm of life. Because confidence is one of those things that helps with everything. And firstly, it helps to know the scientific formula of confidence that I humbly have discovered. And it goes like this: the less you need something, the less you care about that something, equals the more confident you are about that something. And because the more confident you are with that something, the more access you have to it. And the more access you have to it, the easier it is to get, the less you need it, equals you care even less, you become even more confident, resulting in it getting even easier to get it, more access, less need, and so on. The loop continues. You understand the point. And a very simple example of this is, let's say you had 100 friends. 100! Imagine. Now, nobody probably has 100 friends, but that doesn't matter. It's an example. And so if you have 100 friends, what that means is that you don't need any more friends. And because you don't need any more friends, you don't care about getting more friends. You don't need the approval of other people anymore. You have enough of that already. Therefore, you're confidently yourself. You're willing to say what you think and just be yourself, even if it offends other people, even if other people dislike it. And the fact that you're confidently yourself and you say what you think and so on actually results in other people respecting you more and wanting to be your friend. And then once again, you have access to even more people as friends. You need it even less, and you care even less, and you become even more confident, and so on. And this works with absolutely everything. Whether it be friends, approval from other people, dating partners, jobs. If you got job offers, then you don't need the job that you currently have as much as you would need it if you had no other job offers. Therefore, you're more confident and you care less. And that results in you being able to go and ask for a raise and so on. Boom. And so, how do you get the loop started? What are the best ways to not need something so that then you cannot care about something? Well, to set yourself in a position of power. And what I mean with this is, we can look at very simple examples. For example, the job example. If you're working at a company and you learn a skill that no other person has, you are integral to that company and that business, but other businesses also want that skill. Now you are in more of demand than there is a supply of you because of that skill. Therefore, you got multiple options of where you can go and work at, but all the businesses want you. Therefore, you need the businesses less than the businesses need you. You care about the business less than the business cares about you. And therefore, you can be confident and ask for a raise. Go up to a business and say, hey, you know what, I'll quit my job and come work for you if you pay me double, and so on. And then the loop continues. And the same is with a real life example. For example, I used to be talking to 3 women at the same time. And that put me in a psychological position where I was in a position of power. I didn't need any of the women, because even if one of them left, I still had 2 left. And so because I had the position of power where I didn't need them as much as they needed me, I couldn't care less if one of them left. So I could just confidently be myself and do what I do, and funnily enough, they all wanted to be with me. because I was confidently myself. Now, of course, the moment it was going really well with one of them and I stopped talking to the two others because I thought I was supposed to be a good man, the moment I lost the position of power because I stopped talking to the two others, even subconsciously, my psychological behavior changed. All of a sudden, I needed that woman more than I did before. I texted her more than usual, and so on. I gave her more attention now because I lost the position of power. Now I cared more. Now I needed her more than before. And surprise, surprise, a bit later she leaves and breaks my heart. But that's a story for another time. And so to create this position of power where you can be super confident, you can become valuable to others. And so, just like with the job example, you can learn a skill that makes you more valuable. And therefore you get that position of power. Whether that be learning a coding language that no one else knows, or becoming the best salesman at the business, or whatever. You learn a skill and you get that position of power. And in social interactions, you can achieve this by, being funnier, being charismatic, being the kind of person that people want to be around. And once again, you've created that position of power that allows it that you don't need others. And because you don't need them, you can be confidently yourself. And now you might be saying, well, I don't really have that position of power. What else can you do? Well, the other option, which there are a few, you can simply go and fail so much that you don't care about failure anymore. So, for example, if you pick up the phone and make sales calls, you might be a bit nervous. Oh, what if somebody just, says, fuck off, I don't want to buy anything, and hangs up? But after that happens 100 times, the 101st time won't feel like anything. It's like you failed so many times that you have learned that failure means nothing. Failure is simply an experience where you can grow, where you can learn lessons. And because you realize that by going through the failures, you realize that, I can just make business calls or sales calls, and you know what, boom, if I don't get the sale, who cares? I just call another one. And so you can fail so much that you stop caring about failure. And because you stop caring about failure, you can be confident. The same with, talking to new people. Talking to new people, at first you're a bit nervous, like, what will they think, I want them to like me and so on. But then after you've done it 100 times and you've been rejected so many times that you can't even count, and you've talked to new people and so on, like all of a sudden it's like it doesn't feel like anything. You're simply like, I've been rejected 100 times, I haven't died yet, who cares? And once again, you don't care. Therefore, you can be confident. Because when you don't care about failing, or you don't care about getting rejected, or you don't care if that person isn't your friend, and so on, once again, you don't care, which allows you to be fully yourself and confident. Boom! And so you can just go and build up a resume of failures, and that will allow you to be more confident. The more you fail, the more you realize that failures don't matter, the less you care about failures, which means the more confident you become. That simple. And now the first one is always the scariest. When you don't have that resume, that, track record of proof that shows that you can survive literally anything and you can survive the failures, the first failure is always the hardest. But let's imagine this. If you go and talk to someone and they reject you, or you make that phone call and they don't buy your product, that person will probably never ever see you ever again, or never hear from you ever again, and then they just forget about you. and nobody truly cares. And now you might be saying, but no, but I will see this person again because I go to the school with them, or I have the same workplace as them. Well, even in that scenario, let me ask you a question. Do you care about the opinions of the people who you went to middle school with? Probably not. Because you're in a different school now, or you're at the different workplace now than them. And so the same is now. In a few short years, you're gonna have switched schools, or you're gonna have switched workplaces, and so on, and then you won't care. So why care now? Why? There's no reason to care. And the funny thing is that just think to yourself, how much do you actually care about what other people are doing? How much do you actively think in your conscious mind, what is that person doing? Because I bet you it's exactly the same amount as other people think about you. So not a lot. No one cares. You aren't thinking about what John is doing with their life or what Matthew there is acting like. You don't care. You don't think about it. And so they probably aren't thinking about you or care about you. And so just go and do it, you know? And here's the thing. Now that we know kind of the theoretical formula of how to become confident, have a position of power, have the track record of proof that you can survive the failures and then you won't care, and so on and so on. What are some practical things that you can actually do today to start that loop and get that momentum, the ball rolling, as we talked about the scientific formula? Get the ball rolling, get the loop going, and then it will literally fulfill itself and skyrocket. It will compound. How do you do that? Well, I have a very simple rule that anyone can follow, which is that every day of your life, simply do one thing that you don't want to do, or one thing that makes you a bit afraid. And if you just do that, you will not only build that resume, you will also just get used to doing the things, and you will become more confident. And so in the beginning, you can start very small, like talking to a new person and commenting on the weather. You know, you're walking on the street and you just say to someone, isn't it a nice day? Isn't it great weather? Or maybe you can comment on their jacket. Wow, that's a cool jacket you have. And then you just walk away. Super small, doesn't, there's like, boom, that's it. And the moment you get comfortable with that, you increase the level. Now, instead of just having a quick comment with a new person, now once a day you try to hold a conversation for 30 seconds. Just a quick conversation, 30 seconds, nothing has to come out of it, you just do that. And then when you get comfortable with that, then you hold an even longer conversation and maybe ask for contact information and for maybe a new meetup or whatever. And so you're constantly just doing one thing a day, literally one thing a day, to get that confidence, to build your confidence, to get the ball rolling, get that loop started. Once something becomes easy, it no longer makes you a bit afraid, it's no longer something that you a bit nervous doing, then increase the level. And when you're doing this, you will become so confident, so fast, like within just a few weeks, you will be like almost a new different person. You'll be surprised that, wow, I never thought I could be the type of person that talks to total strangers and holds a conversation. But you're capable of that. All humans are, because we're designed to do that evolutionarily. And the great thing is that while you're doing this, to build that resume of just interactions with other people, you can also work on the skills to build that position of power. You can also work on skills to make you the type of person that people want to hang around with. You can also work on skills to make you more valuable to, the business that you work for or the marketplace in general if you're a business owner and so on. You can do these simultaneously, and within a few short weeks or months, you'll be a completely new and different person. And that's when you literally unlock the superhuman confidence. You will have mastered the keys to become a confident person. And so go out there, be brave, stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.